I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sex.
Shortly after leaving the pit lane, Toprak appeared to be unable to ride his bike comfortably. For the first few laps, his speed was still unable to match the leading riders. He also appeared to slow down several times in the middle of the track, before finally returning to the team garage. This situation immediately raised many questions in the MotoGP paddock. Yamaha mechanics immediately surrounded Toprak's bike. A diagnostic laptop was immediately connected to the bike's electronics, while several technicians were seen checking the rear of the bike, the electrical system, and the electronics that control engine performance. The atmosphere in the Yamaha garage became much busier than usual. Observations throughout the practice session indicated that the problem was causing the bike's power to be inconsistently delivered. When exiting slow corners, the bike sometimes accelerated normally. However, on other occasions, the throttle response seemed suboptimal, causing Toprak to lose momentum and gain speed on the short straight at the Saxon Ring. This kind of disruption is certainly a serious problem. In modern MotoGP, the entire performance of a bike relies heavily on the synergy between the engine, electronics, traction control system, engine braking, and various sensors working simultaneously. When one of the systems malfunctions, the bike's performance can drop significantly. Toprak himself was seen having several lengthy conversations with Yamaha's chief engineer. He explained in detail how the bike's behavior changes every time it enters the Saxon Ring's signature left-hand turns. As a rider known for his keen sense of the bike's characteristics, every bit of Toprak's feedback is crucial for the engineers. Some paddock observers suspect the problem is related to the electronic system, which hasn't yet found its ideal setting after Yamaha introduced a number of updates to the German GP. The team is reportedly testing several new configurations, which are expected to improve the bike's cornering stability and corner exit acceleration. On the other hand, there are also suspicions that the problem stems from one of the electronic sensors providing inaccurate data readings. If the sensor isn't working properly, the ECU can send inappropriate commands, resulting in inconsistent engine power. However, there has been no official confirmation from Yamaha regarding the exact source of the problem. Despite this, the atmosphere within the team remains calm. The mechanics are working with high focus, while the engineers continue to study the telemetry data sent after Toprak completes each lap. All information was compared with simulation data before they finally tried making some changes to the bike setup. And here's the full news. The Saxon Ring is no ordinary circuit. This more than 3.5 kilometer long track has a very unique character compared to other tracks on the MotoGP calendar. Most of its corners are left-hand, with a combination of slow and medium corners that are very demanding on the bike's stability. A small mistake can cost a rider significant time in a single lap. That's why Yamaha arrived in Germany with high optimism. Before the start of the series, engineers had made several improvements to Toprak's bike. They hoped the latest package would improve corner entry stability, improve acceleration out of slow corners, and make the bike easier to control in sections with frequent changes of direction. However, the reality on the track proved otherwise. As soon as the green light came on and Toprak left the pit lane for his first lap, everything seemed to be proceeding normally. However, just a few laps later, something unusual became apparent. The bike's speed fluctuated, while Toprak shook his head several times as he passed the pit wall. This gesture immediately caught the attention of observers, as it is usually a sign that a rider is sensing something is wrong with his bike. Shortly afterward, Toprak returned to the garage much earlier than the team had planned. As soon as the bike stopped, the mechanics immediately surrounded it. The fairing was removed, the diagnostic computer was installed, and all data from the electronic systems was immediately analyzed. The Yamaha garage became very busy. Although there was no official explanation, many suspected the problem was related to the electronic system that regulates the engine's power distribution. In modern MotoGP racing, the entire character of the bike is heavily dependent on electronics. The slightest disturbance in sensor readings or software settings can cause engine power to become unstable, causing the rider to lose confidence when opening the throttle. This suspicion grew stronger when Toprak returned to the track. In some sectors, he managed to set a decent time, but in the next, he lost a few tenths of a second. This inconsistency indicated that the bike was not performing as expected. Toprak then returned to the pits for a second time. This time the discussion lasted longer. The rider was seen explaining in detail how he felt when entering the fast left-hand corner. The engineers matched each comment with the telemetry data just recorded from the bike. Meanwhile, his rivals continued to increase their pace. Ducati once again showed a very strong performance, while KTM and Aprilia were also starting to find their rhythm. This situation put increasing pressure on Yamaha as time ticked away, while Toprak's bike issues remained unresolved. What made the situation even more interesting was the fact that the Saxon Ring is a circuit that relies heavily on rider confidence. The bike must be completely stable when entering a series of left-hand corners. If the power distribution fluctuates or the throttle response is inconsistent, the rider will struggle to maintain speed throughout the entire lap. Toprak himself is known as a rider who relies heavily on hard braking and the ability to maintain high speed into corners. This riding style requires a highly predictable bike. When the bike's character suddenly changed due to technical problems, he automatically had to reduce his aggression to avoid risking a crash. Despite facing a difficult situation, Toprak remained calm. He didn't blame the team or the bike in public. Instead, he continued to assist the technicians by providing as much detailed feedback as possible. His long experience at the highest level made every comment he made crucial clues for Yamaha in determining the root of the problem. A few hours later, the team made further changes to the bike. Electronic settings were adjusted, several components were rechecked, and data was compared with simulation results before the weekend began. All of this was done to ensure the bike could return to stable performance. In the paddock, various speculations began to emerge. Some suspected the problem stemmed from the new electronic calibration, while others suggested one of the sensors was not providing accurate readings. However, to date, there has been no official statement confirming the cause of the problem. What is clear is that the first practice session did not go according to Yamaha's plan. Time that should have been used to refine the bike's setup was instead spent searching for the source of the technical issue. This was certainly a loss, because every minute on track is precious, especially in a weekend with a busy schedule. However, Toprak's chances are not completely closed. There are still further practice sessions to improve. If Yamaha can find a solution quickly, it's possible that Toprak will return to competitiveness in qualifying and the main race. This is what keeps fans optimistic. They believe that the combination of Toprak's ability and the hard work of Yamaha's engineers can still turn things around. In racing, a difficult start doesn't always lead to a bad result. Many riders